Hey guys, Josh here. I just finished watching NXT. Uh, this is actually my first NXT wrestling review show on YouTube, so have fun. Um, we start off with a Johnny Gargano segment. He came out. He basically said that he basically recapped the last couple of weeks about him being on Raw and him being on SmackDown with Tommaso, him winning and him winning the North American Championship from Ricochet. But then he goes on to mention how he's bummed that he lost the North American Championship to Velveteen Dream, his very first defense. He said he felt like a Johnny Champion, and he still feels like Johnny Champion. He was soon interrupted by Tommaso Ciampa, um, who says that he comes out and basically says that we're best together. We're best when we're tag teaming together. We're best when we're involved in each other's matches. You know, we can get anything done when we're done when we do it together. He then he said that they need each other. So I'd love to see where this goes. He says that they should reunite and go into the Dusty Rhodes Classic Tag Team Classic, which is coming up here soon, which is always a good show. I love the Dusty Tag Team Classic. You hear DIY chants throughout the stadium, or not stadium, but throughout the building. And then Tommaso sticks out his hand and Johnny shakes it. So I guess it's official. DIY, well, they've been official for the past couple of weeks on Raw and SmackDown, but they've officially back together for the Dusty Rhodes Classic. And I just can't wait for it. Next, you had a backstage promo with Ricochet. They go on to talk about the Undisputed Era and how they still have, how Ricochet and Aleister Black still have unfinished business with them. He also talks about how he's going to go talk to William Regal and try to get Aleister Black and Ricochet himself into the Dusty Rhodes Classic, because I guess everybody wants to go be in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. They also cut to another backstage another part of the building for another backstage segment where you see Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano walk to outside the building, and there is Johnny Gargano's wife. Candice LeRae was outside waiting for them, and she basically hangs her head in shame of Johnny because of him teaming up with Tommaso. She says, "You really want to do this again after what he's done to you? You really want to do this?" And Johnny just says, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." So, and then it goes back to the ring, and we have our first match for the night. It's Vanessa Bourne and Talia versus Tanara Carty. I think I said that name right. I'm not sure. She was in the Mae Young Classic, and that was the last time I heard of her. And her partner was Xia Li. I must say, I like Vanessa Bourne's theme song. It's just kind of hard rock kind of song. I like it. This felt like a very random match. I know the last time I saw Vanessa and Talia, they were kind of being like a tag team. They were helping each other out. But the Tanira and Xia were just kind of like, well, let's just put this team together because, well, why not? So that kind of brought me out of it, but I tried to, stick with it. This was, at the beginning, was a very fast-paced match. I felt, at least at the beginning, I felt there was no wasted movement. Everything they did, every time they moved, it was to set up or do a move. The heel started to get most of the offense, and this is when it started to slow down. They got most of the offense on Tanira, and this was working up to the hot tag, obviously, to Xia. which I eventually did get, but it didn't really work out for her because she got make a few moves in, and then eventually she got hit with some stupid looking backbreaker, neckbreaker tag team move that just looked completely awful. I just thought it looked awful by Vanessa Bourne and Talia. I just thought it looked really bad. I wish I could explain it better. She had her across her knee and like kind of like pushing down her back, and then Talia came up and did like a back neck breaker type thing, and she kind of flipped over, not onto the mat, but onto Vanessa Bourne's knee, which it just looked really bad. I thought, at least. So that kind of, and that was that was the pinfall, and I thought it just looked really stupid, and that kind of took it down for me. So I only gave this match 2 stars, but which doesn't usually happen in NXT, because usually NXT shows, even just the NXT shows, are usually at least 3 or more stars. But sorry, this one wasn't. Next we have another backstage promo. It was the Velveteen Dream just arriving to the building. One of the random commentators or backstage interviewers asked him, what's it like being the North American champion? What's the experience like? And then Velveteen Dream, Velveteen Dream, he's like, well, you should ask the title what it's like, what's its experience to be with the Velveteen Dream. I always like Velveteen Dream. He I don't know, he just says the right things at all times. And plus, he not only can he talk, but he can wrestle. That man can wrestle. If you haven't watched NXT, go back and watch some of his NXT matches. Especially because, and it's funny because he was in the Tough Enough with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he looked completely different. He didn't have any of his Velveteen Dream gimmick on. He just looked like a normal everyday guy, and talked like a normal everyday guy, and spoke, and it's just kind of, it's funny to see how far along he's come. And it's great. It's just really great. He was soon interrupted by the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole basically says that he's going to take the title from Velveteen Dream, and that the Undisputed Era is going to win the Dusty Classic, and they're going to win the tag team titles. He looks at the interviewer and says that you should be interviewing us and not this guy. Velveteen Dreams kind of blows him out of the water. So, you're just a bunch of boys. Go on and I'm going to go and do man stuff, and you guys can be over here being boys, and walks away. We have another short backstage segment with Io Shirai. She's fighting with Bianca Belair, and I'm assuming they're fighting. You can't really tell what they're saying because they're just kind of like clapping back at each other, it's unintelligible, bad bantering, and I'm assuming they're fighting of who's going to be the next number 1 contender, because Bianca Belair has been on a run like no other, and Io Shirai, I think she pinned or beat Shayna Baszler not too long ago on NXT TV. But yeah, they're broken up, and we go back to the ring, and there's a match between Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic, which I've seen him a few times, but not too many times. I wasn't thinking too much about this match because it's just 2 big guys. Even though I know Keith Lee is so athletic and gifted, I didn't know, like I said, I saw Dominic Dijakovic wrestle, but I didn't know if he could be on the same level as Keith Lee. But they get into the ring, and they're clashing each other. They're like, ugh, 2 big guys clashing. I like it. And they both show that they're highly, highly athletic, both doing flips, both doing just reversing each other's moves. There was one move that Keith Lee reversed. He reversed a monkey flip and landed on his feet. And then the crowd chanting, bask in my glory, because, that's his chant, and he's like, bask in my glory. I don't know why I like that. And then from all of a sudden, from like a reverse fest and like, and showing their athleticism, they go right into like a big strike fest, and they start pounding on each other. It's like boom, 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 and they're just pounding the crap out of each other, and it looks so good. It looks so good. So far this match has been awesome. This match has been awesome. Oh, and during this whole strike fest, Keith Lee is able to hit an awesome looking pounce, and Dominic goes flying halfway across the ring. It looked really good. And at the same token, Dominic was able to hit a choke slam on this 300-pound man. He picked up this man and did. It was like a choke slam / pinning combination, and it was just so close. I thought it was over, but no, he kicked out. The audience there is loving it. They're chanting NXT, NXT, NXT. Dominic ends up getting Keith Lee onto the apron, and he does this awesome looking tornado kick, and boom, right in the face. Now he knocks him down to the ground, and then Dominic, and this guy is huge. He's like 6'7" or something like that. He does a moonsault from outside the ring onto Keith Lee on the outside of the ring. This is the only part that brought it down. It was a double count out. Both guys got counted out right there. I didn't like that, but honestly, it didn't make me feel too bad, because it was a really good match. But it just a little bit. I mean, I gave this match 4 stars out of 5. Now, if this match had a conclusive winner, it probably would have went 5 stars. But since it didn't, you give it 4 stars. It was kind of funny when they were showing all the replays of the match. You could hear the audience saying, "We want Regal, we want Regal, we want Regal." To I'm assuming to restart the match. They went back. They cut back from all the replays, and they had both men standing in the ring. I thought maybe they would shake hands, show respect, or whatever, or maybe William Regal would come out and restart the match. No, Dominic left first. He basically says, "I'll see you later," and that was the end of that. They then announced their first round of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I can't remember off the top of my head all of them right now. If you want to go look it up, you can. They also announced that in 2 weeks' time, they'll have Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair, and the winner of that match will go on to TakeOver New York, which is their next takeover, which I think is the WrestleMania weekend, and they will be the number one. Yeah, they'll have a match, and they will be the number 1 contender for Shayna Baszler's title at TakeOver New York. Yeah, they cut back to the ring, and all of a sudden you hear Sasha Banks music. I was like, what? And then you hear Bayley's music, and you have the new women's tag team champions on NXT. You get the crowd just going wild. They get this huge pop. You get the welcome back chants. They go on to say, we're glad to be back in NXT where we started. They go on to say that first they get the "You Deserve a" chants from the crowd, which they do. They go on to mention the last time they were in NXT, which was the Iron Man match they had it was the main event, by the way. The main event Iron Man match they had at TakeOver Respect. And they go on to say something pretty interesting. They say that they're going to defend their titles all over the world, not only on Raw, not only on SmackDown and Raw, but also on NXT too. So they say that the next time they're on NXT, they might be stepping into the ring and having a tag team title match, which I don't mind that at all. I would love to see that happen. Next was your main event, which was Mia Yim. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't really pronounce it right. versus Shayna Baszler. At the first of this match, it was just kind of Shayna bowling her around, showing her that, you know, I'm the champ, you know, you can't hurt me. Until Mia was able to get some sort of upper hand on her and was able to hit a suicide dive to the outside of the ring. It looked perfect. It looked really good. They started to play around with the stairs. Mia stomped on Shayna's hand on the stairs, and this will come back further into the match. It looked really good. I thought that, it looked real almost, because you didn't see her pull her hand out of the way. You didn't see her not hit her hand. You just saw stomping on her hand. This also led to Mia trying to kick Shayna's head off, and Shayna ends up moving, and she kicks the steel stairs, or the steel stairs. They're able to get back into the ring, and Shayna starts working on the injured leg, which is really good. I like when they follow through with what they should do. Sometimes they forget all about the injury and don't even do anything, but I like it when, you know, they continue on with it, because, you know, you really should. In real life, you're going to attack that injury. Shayna gets most of the offense in this match. This is also another part where I told you that hand injury would come back in this match, that she went for the Kiyomori clutch, or how you pronounce it. I can't really pronounce it right. And Mia wouldn't let her get in because she grabbed her right hand, which is the hand she stomped on. I know that's my left hand, by the way. She grabbed her right hand and started pulling at it, reaching, so she couldn't get it on. And Shayna's screaming in pain because, you know, that's her injured hand. They're both competitors were playing off their injuries really well. Eventually, Shayna was able to get that Kiyomiya clutch on. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it right. She was able to get that clutch on. And again, Mia was trying to grab her at her right hand and trying to, you know, break the hold. But Shayna was able to wrap her leg around her hand, so she couldn't reach Shayna's hand, right hand. And eventually, Mia tapped out, and that was the end of the match. The only bad thing I could say about this match is that it just felt a little rushed. If they'd given it a little bit more time, it would have felt more natural, would have felt better. But it still gets 4 to 5 stars. I mean, it's NXT. Come on, it's totally one of, if not the best wrestling shows out there right now. You can't go wrong with NXT. That's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Have a good night. I will see you on Raw. Yeah, there's no pay-per-view this weekend. That's next weekend. I will see you on Raw. Have a good night.